Let's talk depression. Depression is one of the most common psychiatric illnesses in the world. The World Health Organization estimates around 350 million individuals have depression. According to the NIH, around 10% of American adults are on some form of a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, a broad category which includes drugs like fluoxetine, or also known as Prozac. Mounting evidence suggests that nutrition plays a huge role in depression, more directly by impacting neurotransmitter production and function, which can be modulated by micronutrients, but also by affecting systemic inflammation, which is now known to play a major role in depression. How do we know whether inflammation can play a causal role in depression? We know this because healthy individuals that are injected with either a pro-inflammatory cytokine, interferon gamma, or lipopolysaccharide, which is a component of bacterial cell membranes that elicits an immune response, begin to experience depressive symptoms that can actually be alleviated with a polyunsaturated fatty acid, eicosapentaenoic acid, also known as EPA, which is an omega-3 fatty acid that is well known for its anti-inflammatory properties. The reason these inflammatory molecules and cytokines are able to have these sorts of effects is because they are able to cross over the blood-brain barrier and disrupt neurotransmitter production and release. The significance of this inflammation linked to depression is reinforced by observations that the risk for major depression is increased by 44% for each standard deviation increase in log C-reactive protein, which is a common measure of systemic inflammation that is also used as a measure of cardiovascular disease risk. Elevated levels of the pro-inflammatory cytokine IL-6 have also been linked to depression. If you've been paying attention up until now, then you know where I'm going with this already. A little while ago, we talked about inflammation in the context of aging, but it's similarly valid here. If, for example, sulforaphane can lower important inflammatory cytokines, such as IL-6, upwards of 20% in humans, on top of it being able to cross the blood-brain barrier, maybe we have a chance of it being helpful in depression as well. As a plausible mechanism for being helpful for depression, we see promise in animal studies. Mice given lipopolysaccharide to induce an inflammatory response experience depressive symptoms, just like humans do. However, taking these same mice and giving them a whopping 1 milligram per kilogram of body weight a day of sulforaphane reverses these depressive symptoms. This paper I'm referring to is interesting in part for reasons of what it states right in the abstract, and that is that NRF2 may be a good target for novel antidepressant drugs, but also because they're inducing depression through inflammation. Tricking the immune system into thinking it's under attack, however, isn't the only way to induce a depression phenotype. A variety of stressors can do that. Social stress, messing with the circadian rhythm, water deprivation. In 10 different models of stress-induced depression, sulforaphane alleviated depressive symptoms and anxiety as well as the antidepressant Prozac in mice. Sulforaphane also decreased stress hormones and the inflammatory response in response to various social stressors, indicating that the neuroprotective effects on depression and anxiety may be associated with lower inflammation and lower stress hormones in this case as well. Mice that are repeatedly subjected to social defeat causes depression-like symptoms, including avoiding social situations. Sulforaphane prevented this avoidance behavior when animals were given sulforaphane, and even more interestingly, administration of the precursor to sulforaphane, glucoraphanin, during early development and adolescence prevented the social defeat during adulthood. While the positive effects of sulforaphane on depression have only been shown in animals, this is enticing. We already have some evidence that sulforaphane can have a positive effect on other conditions of the brain in humans, such as autism. We also have evidence that sulforaphane can lower biomarkers of inflammation, also in humans. And we know that inflammation is directly linked to depression. For the aforementioned reasons, it seems very plausible that sulforaphane may have a similar effect on depression and anxiety in humans. But the best we can hope for is for future studies to be done in people to help illuminate this for us.